want to, first of all, thank everyone for coming this morning. It's really a joy to come and see this many people giving up their Saturday mornings and hopefully Saturday afternoons. But I hope it will be worthwhile. I would really like to thank Kim for those very kind remarks. And of course, I'd like to thank the Driehaus Foundation for providing the structure that made this symposium possible. I'm going to quickly move on. I would like to start by outlining in a very brief way a little of the thinking behind the symposium. And perhaps the place to begin is with my belief that today we are on the verge of a revolution in how we think about architectural design in the built environment. It's a revolution I think has been slow in coming, but it's been sort of picking up pace more recently. Over the last two decades, we have seen a remarkable number of new developments within the humanities and sciences, new timelines for human evolution and cultural development, new neuroimaging technologies allowing us major insights into the workings of our social, emotional, endocrine, and neural systems, new discoveries such as mirror and canonical neurons in the sensory motor areas of the brain, that is, the brain-body systems mapping our perception of form and space, and consequently new models of perception or the processes by which we engage the world around us. These events have shaken and in some cases radically reformed the premises of the humanities. In fact, it is quite remarkable to go back and look at an anthology or anthropology book from the year 2000 and look at one today, the very different perspective that people now take. Former dichotomies such as mind, body, nature, nurture, perception, cognition have given way to the view that minds, bodies, environments, and cultures interact with each other on multiple levels of organismic expression over the course of generations. In short, we have come to see ourselves for who we really are, that is, an ever-developing species. Designers have been slow in coming to terms with these new developments, in part because of, obviously, the complexities of practice today, but also in part because I think many of us remain wedded to 20th century perspective and theories about the nature of architectural practice. Nevertheless, there are at least three major implications in these developments for architects today to take note of. The first is simply the recognition, a phrase, to paraphrase a statement once made famous by Winston Churchill, that just as we design our physical and cultural environments, these environments in turn design who we are and what we will become. Architecture, we are now beginning to understand, forcefully structures and mediates our sense of self and being in the world. Second, we experience the built environment not just through a visual or conceptual reading of form and space, the premise of so much of modern and postmodern architectural theory, but as a whole-body act of tactile engagement or immersion within an environmental field, one exploiting the depth of our emotional, perceptual, aesthetic, and social experiences. Third, these new models suggest a shift in our focus from the aesthetic object of the design to the experience of the organism immersed within it. The design of the built environment is not a geometric, programmatic, or technological problem in the end, but really a poetic or tactile alignment of material space with the feelings, moods, and desires of those who dwell within our habitats. This last point by no means downplays the role that traditional values such as beauty have and play in our lives. It rather seeks to draw closer to them by taking into account the full measure of our complexity and the way that we actually engage with the world. 63 years ago, the architect Richard Neutra published his book, Survival Through Design, in which he too articulated such a theme. He pointed out that the architect's potential for doing good or harm to the human species is, to use his word, staggering. And he encouraged architects to forgo what he termed the pure aesthetics of a bygone brand of speculation and draw upon the advances taking place across the humanities and sciences. The themes first articulated by Neutra will be updated today by philosophically minded architects, psychologists, and neuroscientists. And with this, let me introduce our first speaker, Barbara Lamprecht.